Hello, buddy. How are you doing? This video comes after 2 days, I think, that I didn't record. Just busy, coming late, and hey, couldn't make it happen. But today we're here, and today I have to manage everything myself. Mommy went early to bed, so I had to make sure that everything was working. Sometimes, actually, almost every time she helps me with the camera, at least at the beginning, to make sure that everything is working fine and the camera is actually recording, but not today. But I think it's all good. And if it's not, well, at least the audio should be good. And that's why I keep the laptop here, because I'm monitoring that sound it's good. If the sound is good, the rest doesn't really matter. So today is Tuesday, January 25th of 2022. It's amazing that I have promised to remember what year we're living in. But hey, it's just been like this all my life. I don't know, for some reason, just time doesn't, I don't know, man. It's just time doesn't register in my mind, or I don't keep track of the month, the date, the year, and all these things. Probably because I never had to be very, very strict or stringent with my schedules. So yeah, luckily I'm an independent man, so I don't have to keep track of these things. Anyway, so I just tell you quick little things that just happened and just got my attention, and probably a reflection here and there. So things that were special. A couple of days ago, I think, or yesterday, I'm not sure, in the morning, we usually wake up, I play with you, and we are together with mommy, and then we go for different things, right? Either for a coffee or just to buy something that mommy needs to cook or something, and that's it. So you know it. Sometimes you're very patient. Sometimes you are cool being at home. You're just very interested in your either dancing as usual every morning. You do that, or playing with your toys. But yesterday, or the day that happened yesterday, or the day before, I was sitting, and you brought me your T-shirt. And this is a new one, because normally when you want to go out, you're going to bring my wallet, bring my mask, bring my shoes. Wherever I am, you're going to bring my shoes. And mommy gets always a heart attack because it's dirty. And sometimes you're funny because you just put the shoe on your face. and you leave the mark of the shoe on your face, which I love. I don't care. Again, I've said it a million times. I don't care about dirt. Dirt is good, and your health, which is nothing but extraordinary, proves it, right? But sometimes, I had to actually take some of some particles of dusters from your eyelid. But anyway, the funny thing is that not only now you're thinking about making sure that daddy has everything so we can leave the house as soon as possible, but now you know as well that you need a T-shirt. So I just saw it, right, and I just helped you to put it on yourself. And then I asked mommy, did you send him with the shirt? Did you give him the T-shirt? What T-shirt? And I'm like, you didn't. No, he just went, grabbed one, probably from the dirty clothes, I guess. And you just gave it to me because now you know that you also wear a T-shirt, before we go out. So you brought it, and then you brought everything, and then you put the shoe on your face, and that's it. But I just love how you get these little things, right? Oh, I need this. Oh, if I want to speed up things, so we leave the house soon, I bring stuff, and now it was also your shirt. So I found it so cute, and the T-shirt is from Bart Simpson. It's Bartman, so even better, even cooler. So that was one thing. Then I left, and I did my voiceover work, which you may not know by the time you grow up if I still do it, but I've been doing it for almost 12 years, of course, mostly in Spanish, and this is something I would like to talk about one day about. When I started doing voiceover, because of many things, and one of them was my health. One was my health, the other one, like I was always sick, I always had sinus, and I always had tonsillitis. It was just a occurrence that was just too common to be normal. And I also had a lot of injuries in the past, a lot of inflammation, chronic inflammation. So my breathing wasn't really good, even though I was quite young. I was 30 something. When I went the first time to record my voice, to do this voice-over thing, I was just really bad. First, because I couldn't breathe properly, so I couldn't pace myself properly. I always have had a huge insecurity about reading out loud, because I always made so many mistakes. And partially, unknown to me, was that partially was because of the breathing and all the problems that came with a health less than optimal. So, just long story short, I was terrible at doing voiceover. But as usual, I like applying myself in those things that I'm not good, because I can tell that there's huge points of opportunities when you suck at something. And it's not because of pride. It's not that, I want to do very good, or but because by improving, you're going to change a lot of other aspects in your life. And that was true for voiceover, because it actually allowed me to understand bit by bit about breathing. And while I was doing the rest of the exploration, for a better health, and doing this breathing, this voiceover allowed me to start breathing better. Started me to, in the way of being conscious about how one has to pace oneself when it's reading, right? How you have to breathe, how so many tiny things. So every time you see that you're not good at something, buddy, instead of stopping, or instead of avoid doing it or feeling bad about it, instead of that, start doing it slowly and carefully, and you will find those points of opportunity that are going to allow you to grow into a more wholesome person. And in this case, for me, I started breathing better. 2, I started noticing the things that weren't. I was lacking a lot of internal pressure that no one talks about. This I've never heard any doctor or anyone talking about this internal pressure that we need inside, right? Like if we collapsed because of injuries, because of posture, because of dietary issues, then it's very difficult to breathe. And now when I see older people, like they always they struggle to speak because they are collapsed inside. So this was one of the ways that I understood that I had this problem, and I was able to address it in my own ways, in my own movement, the protocol, the one that I created to get myself into back to health. Well, back to health, not, because I was never healthy until it was to be healthy for the first time in my life. So important, right? So that was one thing. The other thing is that I ended up becoming probably one of the best, if not the best, voiceover for Spanish, Latin American Spanish in Thailand. So I've been doing this, and I love it. It's one of those things that I really enjoy doing. Anyway, I did it. It was really good. And after that, I came back, and you were so sweet. My God, like you're like. Usually in the daytime, you're not very sweet. With me, with mommy, with no one. You just want to play, and you just want to be yourself. And especially now, I can see that you're really in need to express your individuality. Really, like this last few days, I can see how you're changing, how you're growing, and you want to be more independent, and you want everyone to notice that you're more independent. So I let you be. I'm not in the business of hugging you by force, or kissing you by force, or trying to be close to you. Like, I get as close as possible as I can, respecting the distance you want to have from others. And eventually, you usually start, like coming in bit by bit, which is really cute how you do it. I don't know how or why, right? But since you were a baby, the way you approached was like you start like putting your back towards me. Like if you were looking at my to me right in front of me, you would go like backwards, and you would put like if you're parking yourself on reverse, and you until you get really close to me. So that's usually the way. I suppose it gives you some sense of what I feel is like you get some sense of protection, right? You can somehow you probably feel that you can protect yourself, or at least you're aware of what's happening on the like in front of you. But the back, right? Probably like animals, we need to feel like someone has our back. And since you were tiny, like 4 or 5 months old, that you were crawling, you started like parking yourself like this. And if someone comes that you don't know, even more so, then it's not slowly, you just do it immediately. Anyway, so but I came back, I sat down, and you just came straight to me. You just you sat yourself on my lap with this truck. And this truck was given to you by my mom, your grandma, and your granddad. And you were just pointing, right? Like each tiny thing that you see, like, so you want to know this door, that is the mirror, that is the windshield, that is the tire, that is the lights, every tiny thing. Sometimes you point at things that I don't even know. Not even in Spanish I know how they're called. But you just like, but the cute thing was the way you approached me, and the way you sat so close to me, so with so much peace, with so much tenderness, and the trust. Something I just love is the way we trust each other. It's truly special. Something you don't share with anyone, not even with mommy. It's just, I guess, we have been so close since you were born, because I really was like we're just all the time with you, and I took you everywhere with me. As long as you were fed and clean, right? I would just take a nappy, some cotton pads, right? Just put them on my pocket, and I would just go and have coffee, and I would talk to you, or just look at you sleeping, or just singing to you while I was drinking my coffee, or while I was doing some work in the computer. So we've had such a beautiful relationship, such a close relationship. And I just see with the way you are with me, it's just so beautiful. So that was really, really, really special for me. Then I had to go to the restaurant, and that was a problem, because you didn't want me to go, and you just, mommy can't do anything about it. I mean, we were teasing you with like the breastfeeding. Usually you fall for it, but lately you just don't. you are building the capabilities to say, to resist, to say no. So we spent more than 10 minutes just trying to get you to chill, and just to accept that Daddy had to go. And it just didn't happen. I mean, unfortunately, it just didn't happen. You were okay, but not as good as I wished. I wish you could have been. But I really have to work with you somehow getting closer to mommy. But something happened yesterday that I think is going to put you two in a better path. Not that you have any problem. I mean, you're just less than 2 years old, right? But there's a distance between you two sometimes, and there's some, I don't want to say antagonism, but definitely you prefer the way I treat you. And it's not because I pamper you in any way, because I don't, other than my love and my care. It's not that I'm giving you something like toys or more. Mommy gives you a lot of toys or candies. You never get candies. Nothing like that. Nothing that can say, okay, yeah, because you're over pampering him. And then, no. It's just because you are so independent, because you are such a free soul. I saw that you have always resented the way mommy treated you, like overpowering you, like assuming you're just a baby, and therefore you have no saying. She doesn't have to respect you, and it's not that she's disrespecting you in any way, but she's just treating you like a baby instead of a person. So, but I'll finish this video talking about something that you did that changed, that blew her mind completely. So stay tuned, buddy. Don't change. Don't go for another YouTube channel. Even I'm not even sure if YouTube is going to exist when you are 15, right? But I'll have to migrate all the videos somewhere else. And meanwhile, I'm going to have them on CD-ROMs, or I will have to buy, I don't know, enormous amounts of memory somehow to keep all these videos. But anyway, so another thing. Like I'm always asking you, where's my wallet? Where's my shoes? Where are these? Just because we are leaving anyway, and just so you have better associations between my words, right, and the objects that I'm asking you to look for. But this is funny, man, because you're just like any other man in the world. You can have the thing like right in front of your face, right? And you will not see it. And of course, anyone watching this video could think, oh, but he's a toddler. It's like, yeah, but well, I'm the same. And I am aware, pretty much every man I know that I'm close enough, right? I've seen that we have problems finding things that are right in front of our eyes. And mommy gets really upset about this, and my mother used to get crazy about it. And it's just been that the story of, I think, every man's life, that we just don't find things. It's very common. We have memes, right, that show that men are looking for something inside the fridge and they can't find it, and then the spouse comes and is like, it's here, and it was really in front of their eyes, right, in their faces, but we can't see it. The thing is that there is an explanation that I think it has a lot of truth. It rings a bell to me. When we were in the past, right, we were hunters. Most of the times we were hunters until very recently we became, hunters and gatherers. Hunters because there was a lot of animals to hunt. And sometimes there was bad years and people would have to gather roots and other not really nutritious stuff, but it was better than starving to death. So what happened is that men became really good at spotting things moving and calculating movement, and to see where they could reach the animal or where they would have to throw the stone or whatever they had to kill the animal. While women were more into the gathering stuff, so they would have to be more attentive, right, to find what they were looking for. And those things they were looking for, they were on the ground, they were not moving. So obviously they became, like, naturally, evolution helped their brains and their eyes to see things that aren't moving, while we need stuff to move. Otherwise we are just like blind to everything. So I just see you and I feel like, okay, we are the same. And also I think, poor guy, he's going to have to endure a woman nagging him. But anyway, it's life, man. Anyway, so you see, I've been telling you keto. Now I'm calling you man. Hey, you see, love you. What else? Then finally, mommy decided to take to take the tree, the Christmas tree, to put it back on wherever she stored it. But when we were putting it, right, somewhere in early December, I guess, the artificial Christmas trees, they have the branch, right, a plastic thing, the metallic thing, and it has a lot of like thingies, green thingies, like this, right? They are tiny, super tiny, and we were trying to put it right, and we were trying to decorate it. I was in charge of that 100%, and you kept trying to buy to play with the Christmas decorations that I was hanging on the tree. So you kept taking them, off the tree, because for you everything is just balls to play, right? So instead I took one of those green thingies that make the tree, right? I just took it from the ground, and I obviously just faked like I was putting it back on the tree, but I hid it. And I did like, you see, that's what you have to do. You have to put it back. You have to help me and put all these green things that fell, because it was the Christmas tree was 1 year on the box, so a lot of these tiny greeny thingies were on the floor. And then from that day, you made it your job to go pick them really carefully with your tiny finger and just like. Of course they fall, but you don't say they fall, and sometimes they stay, on the Christmas tree. So you really believe that you put them back in the tree, right? And that's what you were doing when Mommy was trying to put everything back into the boxes. You were putting the green things like on the tree. So it's just so cute, man. I love tricking you like this, because then I get to watch you doing these cute things for hours at a time, and it's just, oh man, I just love your innocence and your beautiful naivety. It's just love it, man. Just love it. And one more thing. Apart from this, we usually, I told you, right, like Bangkok has a lot of mosquitoes. We are very close to a place that is really green, so even more. And so at the beginning you hated the mosquito repellent, and I understand why. Mommy used to do like, so you don't know, right? It's impossible right now for you to know, or even, I don't know if it's physically possible for you right now to hold your breath. Probably physically it is, but probably your brain just wouldn't have a clue. Something happened with the camera, and it's turning off. Just a second. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Okay, kiddo, just what I told you, right? That today I was on my own. But luckily, I changed the monitor of the camera to face this way. So suddenly I saw that the camera just like turned itself off. That's good, because otherwise I would have lost all the video. I would have kept the audio fine, but no video. So I don't know. We did still have plenty of space in the memory card, but I think it needed to be formatted once again, and hopefully this is going to be okay. Anyway, quickly, because I'm afraid with this thing. So mosquito repellent. So I don't know if I think you just don't know, but you could if someone would explain to you. I don't know. But point is that if someone puts something on the air, sprays something in the air, we know as adults automatically, even grown up, not necessarily adult, you know that you just hold your breath for a little bit and you kind of sniff it. We do it it's so automatic that most people won't even think about it, but we all do it. It's just like, it's just immediate, right? But you don't know. So when Mommy used to spray you, you wouldn't know, and you would just inhale that thing. And even it's organic, 100%, it's really irritating. So of course you hated it. Of course, I'm much more aware of this kind of thing, so I always did like put it on my hand and make it like this, so a spray, the particles couldn't fly everywhere and end up in your throat. So I right? But you hated it from moment one because of that, and probably not just because of that. It's just not the nicest smell. A lot of people hate this citronella oil smell. Anyway, that the way I got you to like it is I involved you. I made it something that would be interesting for you. So one day I just took your hand, even you didn't want. I just pulled a little bit and just sprayed it, and you were like empowered, and you started rubbing it first on what was it on the floor, then on your clothes. Finally, you understood that it was like on your legs and your feet, and you did. But later, days later, every bottle, and again, it's just so amazing how you babies, toddlers, thingies know these things. But every time you saw something that could have been mistaken by a spray bottle, you wouldn't take a bottle of water. But anything that looked or was, but it was not super obvious, it was not exactly the same. Every time you saw a bottle like that, you started, you do that, right? You cannot do that properly, but and it became a game for you. And the other day, I was putting it on you, and then you saw we bought different repellents because we ran out of them, and you just took the bottle and you were spraying all your toys. Of course, you can't spray, but you do like this, right? Super cute sound you make, and you were just you were making sure that all your toys were wearing repellent so mosquitoes wouldn't bite them. So another cute thing. Then the next morning, I woke up and you are playing with this spatula. There's a spatula that we normally cook scrambled eggs with. And that thing, you always loved it. For some reason, since you were very, very, very little, you loved your spatula and you went everywhere with it. And so, but now you're really developing this, not just the hitting, like really, like mechanical, not a lot of power, right? But this time you really are like creating momentum and hitting things really hard. And mommy told me that now you're using the spatula, everything you cannot reach, because now you're curious about anything, any table that you cannot reach 100%. You're going your tiptoes and you're just like looking around, right? But now you also use the spatula to rack everything down and out and off the tables or whatever surface that you can reach. So that's also super cute. And that's it for this part. That's all for this. Your occurrences, beautiful things that you do, and I like in beautiful moments I want to treasure and share with you. But the next one, it's really interesting. Really, really interesting, because this is what I told you to stay until the end of this video, buddy. Because, as I said, right, I always, since day one, I saw you as an equal. And I'll probably tomorrow or very soon, I'll tell you the beginning of how we met. And believe it or not, we met way before you came out of mommy's belly, way before. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was just something surreal and something I never expected, something that obviously never happened to me, but I never heard anyone, living such a thing. So I really have to leave it for another day, that probably not even talk about any daily occurrences, just how I knew you were coming to the world, when I knew you were coming to the world, and a lot of amazing stuff. But probably because I had this relationship with you from day one, you can say, I had a lot of respect for you from the moment I saw you. Why? Because, as you know very well, I completely, 100% believe in reincarnation. 100%, 1,000,000%, more than that. Like, I've seen so many things. I have perceived so many things that it would be it would be a dishonor to my own experience to even doubt it, regardless of what people may think, regardless of what science bullshit may say, regardless of what deniers may contend, regardless of what materialists, disagree or give me their own opinions. It's absolutely not important what anyone can tell me about this issue. I just know it and know it. That's true. So just from there, I know that you are a soul as probably as old as mine. I don't know if souls, I don't know the age of the souls. People say that there's souls that are younger than others, but I think what they mean by that, and from literature I've read, what I can deduct, right? Deduce. Yeah, not deduct. Deduce is that we move to different realms or universes, worlds, right? And some souls may have come to this earth more times than others. So a younger soul is just a soul that came to this realm after other souls, right? Other souls have been here for too many reincarnations. Other souls have been only for a few, and probably that's what they call the young souls, because I don't think, well, there's no age, right? There's no time in real sense. So anyway, so because of that, I just know that you're a soul and you're a spirit, as valuable, probably as experienced, if not more, probably as advanced or much more advanced than I am. I'm sure much more advanced. That's why you come after me, and so I have always made sure that I treat you as such, as a fellow spiritual being. And but mommy was, even though mommy has a lot of knowledge in this regard, she has a lot of intellectual knowledge, but at the time of practice, sometimes we all forget. But she's very practical in a way. So you can really tell that some things she's towards intellectually, but at the time of acting, she's just pure facts, pure touchable stuff. So when it came to deal with you, she treated you more like a, like this is a meatball, and I have to do things for this meatball, and this meatball doesn't have to be asked or informed or anything. I just have to do stuff. And I understand as well that for her, she has to just perform task after task after task after task after task, taking care of you, right? When you were a super baby, it's all about feeding you. It's all about changing your nappy. It's all about trying to get you to sleep. Just simple things, but they have to be done over and over and over and over and over, right? So probably it's very difficult for her just to be so thoughtful all the time. While me, even I try to be very, very supportive. I try to be there as much as I could. I simply had a job to do. I simply had a lot of things to do that didn't allow me to be on this repetition, endless repetition. So many times, mommy also saw you as it is promoted in everywhere, right? In media everywhere, that babies are kind of like useless meatballs, right? And that's it. That's about it. And they don't understand, and they are unable to do anything, and they are unable to have nothing at all. It's nothing. Zero personality recognized or zero anything recognized. They're just meatballs, and that's it. So she treated you like that, and she treated you many times like overly protective, which is not good. Babies, toddlers, kids, every person should be allowed a degree of difficulty, a degree of risk, a degree of like Jordan Peterson says, like, usefulness, neglectness. that you neglect, but it's useful when you, for example, are a young parent and you do a lot of things stupidly because you're a young kid yourself. When you're 20 plus or before 30, you're more a kid than a real man. So when you're with your kids, you do a lot of stupid things just because you're still quite stupid, right? But I have tried to make sure that I don't fall into that I'm old and I'm going to overprotect you. Quite the opposite. I'm the one that I'm always pushing you within reason, but always allowing a degree of risk, right? Because otherwise you will grow like truly useless. You will be a useless meatball, but you will be 20 or 30. Not good. Maybe. No, not good. Anyway, so mommy was always like, like do things too much. Like the pieces of meat that we give you too small, or have to be careful because he's going to choke. She's always like, she imagines you're going to choke even with with a salt of grain. I was always like, no. I mean, he can do it. Obviously, he can do it. I've seen him because I'm with you. I experiment again within reason and very carefully, but I do allow that space, for you to have really to struggle a bit. It's okay, because you need to train your muscles, and if you don't train your muscles and you don't train your internal awareness, then how are you going to develop, right? So I was at the restaurant and she sent me a series of messages, a lot, which is very unusual in her, like telling me that she finally saw how amazing you were. Like, she was like, man, you were right. I've been, I haven't understood the capabilities, the capacity, the resilience, the how good this kid is, right? This is what you eat. This thing. This is almost all you eat. Like 90%, this is all you have eaten in your life. This is dry, sun-dried meat, so it's raw, essentially. It's beef. It's grass-fed, no antibiotics, no cooking, so it's superfood, really. If you ask me, it's just absolute superfood. You actually love this thing. You are insane about it. It's almost impossible to get you to eat anything else. Even if it's meat, you still prefer this anytime, which is fantastic, because every time we go out, every time we go like on holidays, or we just go out for a day, we just take packages of this and boom, that's it. We have your food resolved. But sometimes this is it has big stripes of fat, right? And sometimes the fat comes attached to a lot of harder stuff. I forgot the word right now in English. In Spanish, I would know even less. Anyway, but there's some very hard, very chewy tissue that you actually cannot chew properly. You either swallow it or you just throw it away, right? And mommy is really always just trying to just get a little bit of the fat and mix it with a little bit of the meat, right? Not believing that you can do better. But yesterday, what you did last night, you just took a big, huge stripe of fat, like this, like like a savage, and you start to, right? And she was like, she really was like, what the hell what is this guy doing, right? And you just ate the whole thing. And she told me that you were actually because you were trying to swallow those really jerky parts, right? And you did it. And once you finished, you reached for another one exactly the same. And it's all fat. Those stripes are just 100% fat, which is very good for your brain. I mean, brain is just all about fats. So I'm really glad, because that's helping your brain development more than anything else we can do. And so you took a second huge stripe and you just chewed it, and you just took off little pieces bit by bit, and you finished. And she was like, you were so right. I have been like looking down on our kid. I have been believing that this fragile. He's fragile. He's, less capable than I ever imagined. I was like, glad you see it. It took you 1 year and 9 months, but it's better than never, right? Because other people will just never see it. Or if they see it deep down, they will repress it because they don't want to be proven wrong, which is a very human response. It's normal. And no one wants to be proven wrong, especially nowadays. We're in love believing that we know everything and we're always right, which is never the case. Never the case. We always have to be open to the possibility that we are wrong, unless we have empirical knowledge that allows us to know that it's right, it's correct, it works for us, and that's enough, right? So that was the highlight of the day. Not only that you contended and you won and you fought against this huge piece of fat, but also it shows your spirit. It shows your will. It shows that, kiddo, you're tough, little one. You really are tough. And like I cannot compare you, and I wouldn't anyway, with anyone because I've never been close to babies. But mommy has, and other people that has seen you have their own and other kids, and a lot of kids around in their lives, and they tell me really, it's like, this kid is crazy special. It's tough. I mean, this kid is tough, and you keep showing it. And I love your spirit. I love your strength. I everything you do today, the way we were playing, everything is just about you feeling that you can. And let me tell you, you can. And you can even do a lot more than you think. This is something I want you to keep in mind. Okay? You're capable of doing whatever is that you put your will in. In fact, we all are capable of so much more than we believe. But a big chunk of our education and a big chunk of what the present world believes is that we are these tiny snowflakes that are good for nothing, and we have to be cared for, and we have to be our feelings are first, and if it's difficult, just leave it. And if it's challenging, just leave it. And if it's hurtful, go and tell someone, so that person that said something that hurts you, it gets punished. We are living in really strange world, strange times. But you and everyone has all the capabilities in the world. We are childs of God, and God is limitless, and God is universal, is everything. And we share all these characteristics because we're in Him. So just if you're watching this video and you are doubtful about doing something, you're fearful about being able or not being able to do something, just let me tell you, yes, you can. Is it going to be easy? Not always. But just as I told you at the beginning, like the voiceover thing, I was the worst, period. And no one had to tell me. I have enough honesty within to know that I was beyond terrible. Same as I can tell you, with attention, right? With intention, trying, I became probably the best voiceover in Thailand, of course, because I haven't never done this anywhere else. But I overcame, and that effort made me a much better person in every possible way. So that's it, buddy. And a big win for you, because you finally showed mommy that she had, you earned her respect. Let's say it that way. You earned her respect. You acted in a way that got her to understand that she better takes note and changes her behavior. And that's what she told me. I'm going to change my behavior with him. I have to trust him a lot more because I was doing wrong, because I was just looking down on him. So big win for you, buddy. As usual, Super proud. Love you to pieces. And be yourself. Remember, it's the only way.
Welcome to Bixby.
Fuck.
You can talk to me anytime by saying hi.
This thing almost killed me. It's talking to me out of nowhere. Welcome to Bixby. Anyway, kiddo, I don't know why this thing talked to me. It is so unsettling. I'm talking about being strong and look at me. But anyway, so kiddo, yeah, there's only one recipe for happiness, and that is being yourself. Go and copy no one. Be yourself. You're really good at it. Don't change it. I love you. Bye, kiddo.